All right, what's up, guys? Somnus here, and I thought today I'd do a tier list of the Final Fantasy games. This is encapsulating basically the mainline series, and yeah, Final Fantasy is one of my absolute favorite. Well, it's actually my favorite video game series of all time. I love my RPGs, and Final Fantasy was my introduction to them. I pretty much beat them all. There's like one or two exceptions, but yeah, been playing Final Fantasy for the past 15, 16 years, and absolutely love it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this started. Uh, just a quick rundown of the tier list. Basically, S is like perfect to like awesome. A is great. B is good. C is like mediocre, and then D is bad. And then the haven't played section. So yeah, I kind of organized all of these in order. So let's start with Final Fantasy 1. Now, I'm going to be talking about like the different versions because pretty much all of these Final Fantasy games have multiple versions. Final Fantasy 1, I believe, is a B tier. Some would probably rank this a bit higher, but I mean, this was the start of it all. This introduced a lot of stuff, a lot of staples. It's a classic. There are things about it that kind of bug me. It's a bit bare bones and stuff, and pretty much every Final Fantasy has kind of improved on this one, from how I see it. I really enjoy the Pixel Remaster version. I think that makes it a lot more streamlined. It's the best version to play, if you ask me. Uh, Pretty basic. That's kind of like the only thing that I can't really rank it higher, but this game was awesome, I imagine at the time. It did a lot of good things, being able to choose the six different classes, being able to traverse on the ship and stuff. There's a lot of like cool things about this game. But yeah, Final Fantasy 1, I'd say this is a B tier. Uh, Good game, but the series just improved drastically after this, I feel. Final Fantasy 2, this might be a hot take, but I actually like Final Fantasy 2. In fact, I think Final Fantasy 2 is better than the first game. Yes, this game does has a very convoluted and very odd like leveling system and just gameplay in general. But I actually like it. I kind of like how it works. I kind of like these Final Fantasy games where you can kind of break them open. You get you start to understand how the game works, and then you can like just break the game and become like extremely overpowered. Final Fantasy 8 works just like this. Uh, This game really had like an emphasis on story over the first game. I think the story is a lot better in this game. I think the gameplay itself is even better. Uh, they were like very ambitious with this game. They tried a lot of different things, which I do give them credit for. Uh, yeah, I even the gameplay, even though like randomly leveling up your stats depending on like what happens in battle can be kind of annoying. I still find it kind of enjoyable. You can build your characters out however you wanted to. So yeah, like mainly just those two things. I even thought the music was better. I just thought it was a slight improvement, although there are certain things about it that are kind of clunky. That's why I can't really rank it higher than B. But I still like it. I prefer it over the first game, and I really don't think this game is as terrible as other people say. I think I'm just in a like an extreme minority with that game. Final Fantasy 3, this is actually the very first Final Fantasy game I ever played. In fact, the very first turn-based RPG I ever played, and I absolutely love it. This game does hold like a lot of nostalgia for me. But even without that, I still think this is an awesome game. The job system was taken like from the first game, but just like up the notch, like 10 times better. Much more jobs to choose from. The original only had six, but this one has like 20 something. Uh, very like varied jobs. This game does have like a pretty big weakness, and it's the fact that, certain dungeons kind of require certain jobs, which can be kind of annoying, but I think the real like fun and like the real appeal of this game is the gameplay. Like if you can get past that and just the fact that this is based off an original like Famicom NES game. This game was actually never released in America, but even if you can get past like all that kind of jank, this game has a lot to offer. I think it's a lot of fun. I love the world map. I love how just kind of like ahead of the time this game was. This game I think originally came out like 1990 or something. Uh, Somewhere around there. Maybe 89. I'm pretty sure it was 90. But the world map in this game is amazing. Very underrated soundtrack. I feel like this is literally one of the most underrated soundtracks. It's really good. The gameplay itself is really fun. Mainly, I'm talking about like the 3D version, but the Pixel Remaster version is a lot of fun as well. I've never actually played the Famicom version to completion. I have it. Like you would have to get like an English patch, of course, but it's a lot of fun. Uh, the job system was just greatly improved on, and I think pretty much everything about this game I love better than one and two. Like it was a really good improvement. The only thing about it is the story still doesn't, at least bit to be desired. The story is really bland, but Final Fantasy IV, this is going to be the first S tier game. This is where they really started taking emphasis on the story, and it's absolutely amazing in this game. It's not like the most convoluted or complex story, but I feel like it was done right. It was a classic story told right. I enjoy the villain, the characters. So not just the story, but the characters. I feel like those two things is just such a drastic like increase from like the previous three games. The characters all have like personality to them. Some of the characters are pretty complex, have interesting storylines. I love Cecil. He's probably like my second or third favorite protagonist in the series. Kane was really good. Edge, Rosa, Rydia. The characters are awesome. Very classic Final Fantasy. I love like you learn your spells by leveling up and stuff. It was always a lot of fun. Don't want to get too much into the spoils in this game, but this game really just does everything right. It was really where the series started to take off. It was a lot of fun, and I'm quite fond of Final Fantasy IV. And this game has like literally the most versions I've ever seen to an RPG. You have the original Super Nintendo version. You have they ported it to the PlayStation 1. You have the DS remake, the PSP remake, the Game Boy Advance version, Pixel remaster. It's pretty insane. I really enjoy the PSP and the DS version. I also have quite a bit of nostalgia for the Game Boy Advance version. But yeah, what more can I say about Final Fantasy IV? It was really cool having like a five people in your party, which never really saw that again. But yeah, four is like everything I want from a Final Fantasy game. Like it's absolutely awesome. All right, next is Final Fantasy V. This is also going to the S tier. I actually prefer this to four. While four does have a better story and better characters, I feel like everything else about five I like better. And Final Fantasy V still had a really good story, and the characters were still pretty decent too. But five, the meat of this game is the gameplay. They took the job system from three and just made it even better. The fact that you can equip your job and then have like a secondary ability was just like game changer. So ahead of its time, you can mix and match jobs and make awesome combinations. You can have like a black mage with white magic on its second ability, or like a summon on a second ability. You can mix and match like physical jobs, physical and magical jobs. The replay value is the absolute highest in this game. I absolutely love Final Fantasy V. And a lot of versions as well. The Super Famicom version, if you can get like an English patch of that. It was ported to PS1. You got the Game Boy Advance version and the Pixel Remaster. The Pixel Remaster is actually really, really good. The Game Boy Advance version had like the extra jobs and stuff. Very, very good soundtrack. Uh, I forgot to mention that before. All of the Final Fantasy games have amazing soundtrack, but five had Battle on the Big Bridge. That song that plays in that forest, I think Forest of More. Uh, that song that plays underwater. The song that plays in like towards the end of the game, A New World or something. Very awesome music, really, really good. And yeah, what can I say? Like this was Final Fantasy gameplay perfected. I think this is probably my second favorite battle system, or like the second most fun I have from RPG, or from a Final Fantasy game. Like the battle system is amazing. Job system literally perfected. But yeah, Final Fantasy V in the S tier. You're gonna notice a trend with these with this era of Final Fantasy, the Super Nintendo, Super Famicom versions. Final Fantasy 6 is going to the S tier. This is my favorite out of the first, well, out of yeah, the first six. But out of four, five, and six, I think this is the best one. I This arguably has the best story. There's one Final Fantasy that I think I like the story more, but that's more for like personal reasons. It's more kind of like an emotional story, but I don't want to get into that. That's kind of a spoiler. I think this is probably the best written story in the series. The villain was amazing. I love like the stakes in this game. Again, I don't want to get into spoilers because I can easily talk about this game a lot and get into heavy spoilers, which I don't want to do because if you haven't played this game, you owe it to yourself to play it. You absolutely love it. The gameplay itself was a lot of fun. A lot of characters in this game. There's 14 characters, I believe. I really enjoyed the Esper system. Being able to learn spells and from your Espers. The world map was pretty cool. Uh, I want to say more about this game, but it's hard to talk about this game without spoiling it. But yeah, the villain in this game was awesome. The characters all have like really good, interesting character arcs that kind of wrap them up and define them as characters, which I really enjoyed. I love Terra, Locke, Celis, Shadow, Realm. Uh, who else is there? Gao was also pretty cool. Cyan, a lot of characters, and they're all really great. Yeah, I can't really say much more about six. It's amazing. But you probably already know that if you already played it. All right, Final Fantasy VII. This is going to the S tier. I think I prefer this a bit over six. Seven and six are like some of my absolute favorites. I don't want to say more than that because you'll see at the end of the tier list. But seven was the next Final Fantasy game I played after three, and I absolutely loved it. Which is kind of funny because this was in terms of like finding out about Final Fantasy, it was seven, but I didn't have a PS1 and I ended up just playing three before. But I absolutely love seven. Like the gameplay itself was a lot of fun. I love the materia system, the different materia combinations. Exploring the world map was always a lot of fun. Uh, the story itself was really good. Sephiroth was an interesting, compelling villain. Awesome, awesome soundtrack. I know this game gets kind of like a flag for like kind of being overrated and stuff, which I don't necessarily agree with. Uh, I'm just grateful that this game kind of brought JRPGs to the West because they weren't like mainstream like that. But yeah, seven kind of like everything I love in a Final Fantasy game. I love the characters, Tifa, Yuffie, and Sid being my favorites, and also like Barret a lot. Uh, really interesting things what they do with the story, but just like six, I don't want to get into spoilers. Final Fantasy VIII, this one's a bit interesting. Uh, I kind of struggled to get into this game. Because I think this is the third one I played after seven. I got to like the end of disc one. Then I beat some other Final Fantasies. I came back to it, and I have a much more like appreciation for this game. But I wouldn't put this in the S tier because there's kind of just a lot of things about this game that kind of bother me. I'd probably put this at the bottom of A tier. Some people might look at this crazy that I have this like above, or not above, but below Final Fantasy 3, but I would be lying to myself if I said I didn't like Final Fantasy 3 more than 8. I just enjoyed 3 more. But 8 is still really good. Like the junction system could take a while to get used to, and it's not for everybody. But if you put the time to invest into it, it's actually kind of a lot of fun. Just like Final Fantasy 2, you can break the game quite easily. In fact, you can run through the whole game without leveling up, but still have like crazy stats thanks to the junction system. One of the best minigames I've ever seen in just an RPG in general, a video game in general, is that Triple Triad. It was a lot of fun. This might have like the best soundtrack. Like I always come back to this game, and then the music just kind of like it always just hits me. Like whenever I do come back to this game, because I don't play this as much as the other ones, the music in this game is just it's phenomenal. Like Never Look Back, I always enjoyed a lot. Premonition, that song that plays at the end, I think it was Extreme. Yeah, just a lot of amazing songs. Uh, the story is can get pretty convoluted at times, and I think that's one of the reasons why I don't rank it as higher. That and the gameplay, even though it's fun, it's problematic in some ways. It's still a great game though. Like there's a lot to like about it. So yeah, I'd put eight at the A tier. Final Fantasy IX, this was going to be kind of a hard one to rank because I don't know if I want to put this behind six or behind nine. I almost feel like I'm gonna put it ahead of six. I like the story more in six, but I think I pretty much like everything else more in nine. In fact, nine and seven I kind of hold like in the they're literally like neck and neck. I just think seven is a bit higher for me because of the gameplay, but nine is amazing. It harpens back on all the other Final Fantasies. It's pays homages to one through eight. There's at one point we have like the song from Final Fantasy VII from like the Shinra Parade playing, and it's awesome. It's like I don't know. It's like kind of like the departure of like the old school Final Fantasies because after this they kind of things kind of go completely. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just a completely different feel after Final Fantasy IX. But even with that, I still love Final Fantasy IX. This has the best cast of characters. I would just straight up say that this has my favorite cast of characters. I think Zidane is my favorite protagonist in Final Fantasy. And it's funny because like after seven and eight, where you have Squall and Cloud who don't have like the greatest of personalities, they're more like just they have their like cool factor and stuff. But Zidane had such like personality. He was a funny protagonist. Uh, I like thieves and Final Fantasy games, so that was kind of another plus one. This game had Vivi, which was one of the best written characters. That's probably my second favorite character in Final Fantasy. I just think his story arc is just written so well. Uh, Definitely one of the best written characters, probably the best written character in Final Fantasy, in all honesty. Steiner was great, was a lot he was always really funny. The equipment system I enjoyed, you know, you learn abilities from the equipments, which was really nice. You know, you were really you had to pick you had to be pretty tactical about how you change your equipment, depending on what did you wanted it to learn at the moment. But nine had an amazing world map. I think seven and nine had my absolute favorite world maps in the series. They were just done so well. The Chocobo minigame can be annoying at times, but I actually enjoy it. Not the digging part, but everything else, where you're actually like looking for the treasure, not like trying to find the chocographs. That was kind of annoying. Yes, nine is awesome. There isn't really a single thing that I can kind of nitpick about this game, apart from the this game is kind of slow, like the gameplay, especially after playing like the other Final Fantasies, but that's a really small nitpick. All right, Final Fantasy X. This is one of the main reasons why I didn't kind of I was trying not to spoil stuff, but this is going straight to the top. If you've seen my pickups video, the very first one, I picked up the international version of this game, and I did mention that this is my favorite game of all time. So not just my favorite Final Fantasy, but my favorite game of all time. This was like the fifth game I played after. I think I played 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I fell in love with this game. And funny enough, like the first time I played through the game, like I really enjoyed it, but this game just like grew on me and grew on me with like subsequent playthroughs. Everything about this game I love. Uh I mentioned earlier that 5 is my second favorite battle system. This is my favorite one. Like I prefer turn-based over pretty much everything else. Like I prefer turn-based over action and strategy. Definitely over action. And this game has like the conditional turn-based battle system where you have like the turn order. You don't have that ATB gauge where, you know, enemies can hit you if you're not fast enough. And I just love how it plays. You can see like whose turn is up next and you can do certain things to dictate the turn order. I absolutely love that. I love how you can swap characters in and out. That was amazing. I know if other games have done it before. I'm trying to think of a game of example. I think Dragon Quest IV did it, but I never played it. This is the first instance where I've seen something like that and it was absolutely amazing. Uh, so yeah, gameplay is my favorite. Story is my favorite because of just of the impact that the story had on me. You know, this was a very emotional story, very personal story. I really enjoyed like Yuna's pilgrimage and stuff. I absolutely love the characters. Auron is my favorite character in Final Fantasy. One of my favorite characters like in all of gaming. I really enjoy his like story arc and kind of like how the story unfolds with him. The music is amazing. This is where like I think Nobuo Uematsu was like the lead director for like pretty much all of them before this one, but he had like help with this one from like others like Masashi Hamasu, I think is his name, and like another one. I think I always forget the third. I don't want to like butcher the name, but amazing soundtrack. Like very very personal feel to this one. This one's very like atmospheric and personal, very emotional, like OST. Probably like my second or third favorite soundtrack. I absolutely love it. I love the weapon and armor system, how you can kind of customize abilities onto him, which my favorite weapon system, armor system, I don't know why they never kind of went back to that. Maybe they didn't like one of the spin-offs, I don't know. But that's the only iteration I've ever seen of it. Being able to customize your weapons like that was amazing. My favorite summons, like being able to bring the summons out and actually like use them and fight with them, I thought was a nice touch. The post game can be kind of annoying. I can see why people don't like that. Like some of it is definitely awful, but I I mean the only one that really bothers me is that stupid 200 lightning bolts, but I've done that several times. Really annoying, but yeah, everything about this game I love. I just love even like the post content, everything about that game. So that's going straight to the top of the S tier favorite game. All right, so I just said 10 is my favorite game. 10 2 I haven't beaten, which is kind of like a sin for me. I don't know why I haven't beaten this game yet. I really enjoy the battle system. This kind of harpens back to the job system. They're called dress spheres in this game, but from what I played of it, I got like 20 hours into this game and I really enjoyed them. That was my favorite part of the game by far. This game, it's good. It's just there's certain things about this game that I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of. I don't want to spoil 10 storyline, so I'm gonna say very little about this, but this game just really felt kind of unnecessary to me. It's like they were just trying to kind of bring fans back, but again, I don't want to get into spoilers, but this game was just really unnecessary. But battle system was fun. It was cool to play. Uh, not much more I could say about that. Final Fantasy 11, I haven't played. In fact, I never played an MMO really. I mean, I played Diablo 3, but I don't even know if that really counts. And I played that as a single player. I never played online. Uh, Curious to see how this would pan out because since I played like all the Final Fantasies, all the main lines except for one, I should give this a try at some point. I don't know. I think I'd enjoy it. I wouldn't sink the amount of time as like others would because I don't know. I'll just get sick of a game like playing it for that long. All right, Final Fantasy 12. This one's really interesting because if this was based off the original PS2 version and just like my first playthrough way back like 6 years ago, I'd probably put this in like the C tier or like low B tier. But I did go on to play the Zodiac Age version and I loved it. I'm trying to think where I would put this. I feel very similar about Final Fantasy 5 that I do with 12. This is probably like my third favorite battle system or fourth. Trying to think. And a lot of it is really like the Zodiac Age. So when I'm talking about 12, I'm talking about the Zodiac Age edition is what a lot of people are playing nowadays because they brought it back with like an enhanced version. You have the 12 jobs that you can pick from, and you can like speed up the game. Things just play out a lot smoother in this than the original. And I really enjoyed it. Like the gameplay itself, like the gambits is probably the best use I've ever seen of AI in RPG. Like playing Final Fantasy 12 and then playing another game after with AI just kind of bugs me. It's a lot of fun. Setting up your gambits and having your characters kind of just do their own things. But it actually works like so well in this game. Like it plays out better than you think it would. It was pretty cool, like exploring throughout like all the different zones. This is like the one Final Fantasy where I didn't really do the post content, so I need to kind of get back to that because I might enjoy it more, I might enjoy it less. The side quests did seem really annoying in this game. You have to do like this before you do that, and then do this before you do that, that type of stuff. But I do want to try like some of the optional hunts like Yazuma and stuff like that. I imagine that's going to be a lot of fun. Story does kind of leave a bit to be desired. It's just very convoluted and it's how it like its approach of how it tells a story, which is a shame. But it's not terrible. It's just I don't know. I feel like it wasn't explained the best, and it almost felt kind of like rushed too. But Final Fantasy 13, I don't know where I'm gonna put this. Uh, no, I prefer this over three. This is going to the top of A tier. Another unpopular opinion. As you can see, I don't. Well, I'm not gonna say that just yet. I'll wait to the end before I say that. But in terms of like two and three, I actually like them. And eight, 13, I prefer to eight because I like the gameplay more. Uh, the gameplay I really like in 13, like a lot. I love like the paradigms and stuff and how you can switch them around and stuff. That was a lot of fun. The reason why this is an S tier is because this game kind of has a lot of things that kind of bother me. Uh, Funny enough, the linearity doesn't really bother me. I understand like how it can bother someone else, but with me, it's kind of like I don't know. Not everything needs like a huge world map. Final Fantasy X, in fact, is actually kind of linear. You know, with 10, it doesn't bother me at all because the story was so good and I enjoyed the gameplay. And I don't know, kind of like with how the story plays, I understand why it kind of plays that way, but the linearity of 13 never really bothered me. Story is extremely convoluted. I feel like this was kind of like worse told than 12. Like you kind of have to read like I think they're called the data logs or something, which I don't understand why. It was just like a struggle, like to understand the story in this game. And then the characters are some of them are kind of annoying, I will admit, like Hope and Saz. Or not Saz, what is his name? Hope and Snow. Saz and Vanille are actually the characters I liked. And Fang. Lightning I felt kind of indifferent, but yeah, Hope and Snow were kind of annoying characters. Uh yeah, one more can I say about 13, like it's a lot of fun. But 13-2, I thought that was even better than 13. I'm gonna put that like towards the bottom of S tier. The gameplay, I'm still trying to think. Sometimes I feel like I kind of prefer the gameplay in the original 13 just a little because I feel like it was a bit more polished. But then at the same time, 13-2 had like the monster collecting, which was a lot of fun. I don't know. I go back and forth between the gameplay, but everything else about 13-2 is better. The story is still one of those things where it's like I don't care too much about. I still felt like it was better told, a bit more interesting than 13. Uh, but just exploring stuff was also like one of the big highlights of this game. It was fun going through like this game has time traveling, by the way, going through all like the different gates and stuff. Capturing all the monsters was always a lot of fun. I did like how the Crystarium worked and stuff. You went through like just the way how this game played was a lot of fun. Collecting the fragments for the most part was fun, except for that lottery one. There's actually a few fragments in this game that were really annoying, but what can I say? Like everything about this game was a lot of fun. This was a pleasant surprise. I mean, I like 13, so but I still really enjoyed my time with 13 too. And it's a shame, but I've actually never played 13 Lightning Returns. I actually owned this game in the past, but I don't own it anymore. I do want to get around to this at some point, but you know, someday. Someday we'll get to Lightning Returns. Final Fantasy 14, I also haven't played. This one I kind of want to play even more than 11 because I think this one, I kind of mentioned how 9 harkens back to like all the other Final Fantasy games. Apparently this one does too, but I think this one does it even more. This one plays homage to like all the other Final Fantasy games, which I'm curious to see. At some point I do got to get around to this. All right. Yeah, things are gonna get really interesting from here on out. Uh, as you can see, I kind of rated all these pretty high, but we'll see how it goes from here. All right, Final Fantasy 15. Man, this game just annoys me. All right, so Final Fantasy 15, I pre-ordered this game. When does this come out? The end of 2016, I think. And I always thought Versus 13 was like the best trailer I've ever seen to a video game, but I'm not gonna waste any time. I'm just gonna put this straight in the D tier. I guess I want to start off with the things I like. I think this has an amazing soundtrack. One of my favorites. Yoko Shimomura did the music for this, I believe, and she's just one of my favorite composers. I love the title theme, or like Somnus. I absolutely love it. It's one of my most played songs in the series. Omnis Lacrima. There's some really good music in this game, like really, really good music. But with that being said, that's really the only thing I like about this game. Uh, the story felt very I'm trying to figure out the best way to describe it. Disjointed, uh, fragmented, like it did not feel connected at all. And I understand that later on they added like I think the Royal Edition and stuff, and there's like a movie, I think it's called Kingslayer that you're supposed to watch before this, but I don't like that. Like you have to do all that to kind of piece together the story. Uh I just I did not enjoy the story in this game at all. The gameplay was another thing I didn't like. I'm gonna speak on that a bit later, but yeah, the gameplay I was not really a fan of. The world map in this game felt like very bland. Like it was gigantic, but it was just very bland. I detested. Like I did not. I could not stand like traversing through this map. You could like ride on your car through the roads and stuff, but man, like going through like the mountains and stuff and the grasslands. Yeah, this might be an unpopular opinion because I know people like kind of like this game, but I I can't stand Final Fantasy 15. 16 I haven't played. I'm kind of worried about 16. Like there's certain things I think I'm gonna enjoy, like maybe the story. I heard it's kind of dark. The gameplay is, I think it goes back to like the action, which I don't know. Action RPGs I've always kind of struggled to get into. Like I much more prefer turn-based and strategy. Of course, there's some games like Kingdom Hearts and stuff that I still really like, but action RPGs I kind of struggle with. So I don't know just how much I'm gonna like 16. And Final Fantasy 7 remake. I think this is Intergrade and then Rebirth. This is another game I pre-ordered, but I did not care for these games. I will say I enjoy this more than 15. This one I didn't even beat. I think like 15, 20 hours in, and I don't know. When it comes to like games being remade, I'm I really don't care for games to be remade. I understand like it's necessary, to get like other like newcomers into the series and stuff because Final Fantasy VII, like the original, can be quite dated to some other people that might struggle to get into it and just won't ever play it. But what they did with this game, I don't like how they it feels really bloated. I don't like what they do with the story. They kind of like change a lot of stuff too. I don't like how the episodic nature of it, how it's kind of released in three parts. That I'm not a fan of at all. The gameplay I don't like. It's not terrible though. I'm not gonna say it's bad. It's really not for me. I still think it's a lot better than 15, the battle system. But I mean, these games are really just not for me. And I know that's gonna and a huge unpopular opinion because I've seen people like put this in their top five, and a lot of people say like this their favorite. That's just a sentiment I don't share. But oh well, not every Final Fantasy is for everybody. And then Rebirth I haven't played because I just know it's not really gonna be my type of game because I really just didn't gel with remake at all. I don't think it's terrible. I just they're not really for me. I did hear Rebirth is better than remake integrate. But yeah, this was just the mainline series. There's Final Fantasy Tactics as well, but that's a spin-off. I never played Tactics, which is another sin. I really want to play that, but I imagine if I play Tactics, which I actually just bought the remaster, so I'm gonna be playing that soon. That's gonna be in the S tier, I'm quite certain. But yeah, this is my ranking of the Final Fantasies. As you can see, a lot of S tier and A tier. I absolutely love the Final Fantasy series, favorite series of all time. And yeah, not much more else to say. I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Uh, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.